This week on Final Boss. WrestleMania was this past week. Now watch Justin battle his addictions Kaiser Mario style. Jessica shows us her Knight in the Darkest armor with her look at Batman Arkham Knight. Don't get left for dead. Curry shows us how far the multiplayer classic has come. And lastly, it's a battle of the Brandons as we take on Rock Band 3 in sudden death. Get ready, boss incoming.
What is Final Boss? Final Boss is the product of three great friends, a show by gamers for gamers. Here you'll find all the best in gaming entertainment and talk. We've got reviews, roundtables, previews, let's plays, walkthroughs, all the best in gaming content to keep you coming back for more. So get ready, boss incoming.
I'm Robert Adams,
And I'm Brandon Turner.
and this is your gaming news. In a world of super hard games, you think people would patch things and allow people to cheat the game, right? Wrong, as proven by Bloodborne, a Dark Souls-esque game that has an item glitch. First, you need an alternate character, progress him enough to access the first lantern in Central Yatharm, and go to the Hunter's Dream. Then you go to your main character and empty your storage chest. Switch back to your alternate character and buy a pebble and put it in your storage chest alone. Go back to your main character, put something that you can have multiple of, and put it in that storage chest. Then buy as many pebbles as you want, because for each pebble you buy that you can't hold, it goes into your chest, but it also dupes that item. I understand that you can't fix every little thing and objective about these games, but it's supposed to be hard. And why does every game seem to have an item dupe glitch? Whatever happened to Big Head mode?
According to the internet, the world is ending this year and we're all about to be harvested by aliens. In other words, Nintendo has announced a partnership with DNA. The partnership comes off of talks between the two companies that have been going on since 2010. And basically what this means is that Nintendo is going to be creating games for cell phones and tablets and whatnot, while DNA is going to take over Nintendo's internet infrastructure and, do stuff like a unified account system and help with their online. Wait, I'm getting reports that aliens are redirecting their course. Yes. Nintendo has also announced the codename of their next home console, or we think it's their next home console, the Nintendo NX. So Nintendo aren't getting out of hardware anytime soon. Chill out, Internet. I'm Brandon Turner.
And I'm Robert Adams.
And that was your gaming news.
Oh, Left 4 Dead. Everyone loves zombie killing games, and Left 4 Dead is one of my favorites. Left 4 Dead is a great game to play with your friends, and honestly, it's probably one of my favorite multiplayer games to ever come out. Left 4 Dead 2 was developed by Valve and was released in 2009, and yet, even today in 2015, I and several other people are still playing it nearly daily. The great thing about Left 4 Dead is that you don't have to play the standard game. Valve lets modding become a big thing in their games, and so you can change up the game how you want it by adding creativity to what you see and interact with in the game. And that's what makes them so great and so replayable, even 6 years after their release. Left 4 Dead 2 can be purchased on the Xbox 360, PC, Mac OS, and Linux. If you haven't tried Left 4 Dead 2, it's one of the best experiences with multiplayer you can ever have. And I can't stress enough how much you will enjoy this game too if for whatever reason you haven't played it already.
This week on True Life, we focus on Kaizo Mario addiction.
Hello everyone, my name is Justin Coons, and today I want to talk to you about Kaizo Mario addiction. I suffered through this, and I first found out from the game by way of my brother. He said, "Hey Justin, this would be a fun game, I think you'd really enjoy it." Little did I know it would cause me anger, grief, insomnia, constant nightmares. This game was something else. I knew I should have listened to Jessica with all of her hazards of gaming tips, but now I'm a walking, talking example of what happens if you ignore those. This game has given me nothing but grief, but I just can't stop playing it. This is why I reached out to True Life. I want them to know about this serious thing, and hopefully this video will help others suffering like I am.
Kaizo Mario is a ROM hack of Super Mario World, created by T. Takemoto, an unknown Japanese ROM hacker. It was made to make you cry. The game includes difficult precision jumps, multiple obstacles at once, and many, many nasty traps along the way. Kaizo Mario is not for the light at heart, and if you play it, you could become addicted. The bullet bills. This took me quite a while to do this. I got killed probably 20 or 30 times before I realized what I was actually supposed to do. So I hit the thing, which is in Japanese, telling me what to do. Again, thanks ROM hacker guys. And I continued getting killed by the bullet bills. At the bottom of the game, you'll see save state. When you play this game, you're supposed to, if you get to a certain part of the level where it gets difficult like this and you don't want to repeat trying to get over, you just save state and you get a chance to restart. So I go through the bullet bills about half a dozen times before I finally make it through there. And here comes the football players. I do several. This may look like one fluid motion, but it took me several times to get through. But then, after a while, I just kind of skipped over that part for this thing. And here's these coin blocks that are hit through. And I'm trying to make it through the other side. And this took quite a while to do this. And finally, I almost make it through there, and I get stuck by an invisible coin block, which is 100% completely unnecessary. But I digress. So eventually, I get past that, and you see little bomb-bombs. And that took a while to get over, because they're everywhere. But eventually, I do, but then I kind of go back to the old safe state. Fast forward a little bit, you have to spin jump these spiky Koopas to get across, and it may look like this is easy or one fluid motion, but I promise you, this was the cause for a good majority of my deaths. So, eventually, I do happen to get past it, not before I die several more times, and there's the checkpoint right there. I save stated. And then I get to the point that took me a long time to get through here. Being a big Mario after you get the mushroom kind of makes this a lot more difficult to get through. But eventually I do, and here's the checkpoint. I finally made it through level 1 with only 350S. Stay tuned for more.
Welcome back to Final Boss, and recently I found out about a nice little bug on the PS4 that keeps rebooting the system into safe mode. Thankfully this handsome fellow here fixed it, and now I'm going to tell you how he himself did it with a couple of nifty options. Option 1. Unplug the wires. Unplug both the HDMI cable and the power cable and wait for about 15 to 20 minutes and your system might start. A note you might want to know is that I tried this multiple times. It took me actually twice to do it. Option 2. Call Sony. While many people call Sony daily about problems, you should try and give them a ring to see if they have any updates or helpful information about the glitch. And option 3. Initialize the PS4. This option is probably the most likely to solve your problems, but the cost is losing all your save game data and trophies, which makes it the most undesired option, but a final solution. I urge that you try the other options multiple times before continuing, or be smart and find a way to back up your game sub. We now bring you back to Final Boss.
You are the product of everything you fear. Violence, darkness, helplessness. All that remains is for you to watch as I drag your beloved Gotham into oblivion.
This week, Final Boss takes a look at the much-anticipated final installment in the main Batman Arkham series, Batman Arkham Knight. Warning, spoilers ahead. Set 1 year after the events of Arkham City, Scarecrow has devised a plan that includes all your favorite past villains, minus the Joker since his death in Arkham City.
Even after everything you've done, I would have saved you.
Guy Perkins, the marketing manager of Rocksteady Games, explained the benefit of the Joker's death for the other supervillains. He's not there to disrupt the things they're doing, so you have to imagine a world where he's not there and not causing that chaos. They can get organized, work together, and offer a more formidable challenge. Scarecrow will be working closely with new villain Arkham Knight to try and take control of the city after the death of the Joker has left the city somewhat tame. So far, not much is known about the Arkham Knight's identity. Seeming to hold a personal grudge against Batman, the Arkham Knight has provided soldiers, advanced weaponry, and weaponized vehicles through Ace Chemicals, helping to aid Scarecrow's master plan to wrest control of the city and take down Batman once and for all.
I'm going to show the Arkham Knight what happens when he messes with my city.
Fans have speculated as to the identity of the Arkham Knight. Many theories include family members of Wayne, including his father, who would somehow be resurrected, his long-lost younger brother Thomas Wayne Jr., or Damian Wayne, the son of Bruce Wayne and Ra's al Ghul's daughter. My favorite theory is that the Arkham Knight is actually Amadeus Arkham, the original founder of Arkham Asylum. Sure, it would be a stretch to have him come back to life after dying all those years ago, but I feel like it would be a great way to tie the games together. Many fans are excited about Arkham Knight due to the introduction of the drivable, iconic vehicle, the Batmobile. The bulletproof, arsenal-loaded Batmobile can be summoned to Batman's location. Seemingly indestructible, the Batmobile can smash through objects like barricades and fire missiles, immobilizing enemies. Some enemies will actually run away at the sight of the vehicle. Yeah, it's that awesome. The game also features more territory, so the Batmobile could definitely come in handy when covering that much ground. There have also been quite a few changes to the combat system, like countering enemy attacks before throwing them into other enemies for increased damage, or Batman's ability to access grates from farther distances instead of having to be right on top of them. These and other changes to Batman's fighting style means more ways to take out the enemies in style. Unlike the previous games, Arkham Knight has received a mature rating from the Entertainment Software Rating Board, or ESRB. Unlike its rated T for teen predecessors, this game is reported to contain more violence, torture, blood, and bad language. Rocksteady has kept the mature rating, opting to not censor or change any of the game's material. While the original release date of June 2nd has recently been pushed back to June 23rd, we still have to wait a few months before we can enjoy the last chapter in the Batman Arkham franchise. While Rocksteady has slated this game to be the last in the Arkham series, it does not mean it will be the last Batman game, so fans can rest easy. So mark your calendars for Batman Arkham Knight and stay tuned for more here on Final Boss.
And to Batman, I have already won.
Yo, why are you looking at bags, bro? What you need is a chick magnet. You put me in the room and boom, chicks. That's what I'm talking about.
Welcome back to Final Boss. This week we're taking a look at the past 10 years in the Resident Evil franchise. Everything from Resident Evil 4, what's highly regarded as the biggest and best Resident Evil, to the new Resident Evil's Revelations 2. Now, you guys have been spending a lot of time playing this over the past couple
Probably
days.
too much. I think the most recent game Robert and I have purchased, we got a hold of the new Revelations 2 game.
Yeah.
And we've been kind of playing through it. It was really kind of a tease because the first chapter is only a couple of hours long, so about the time you get into it, it's when it's over.
Like when you're really ready to start going with the game. It's,
Yeah.
Cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's like, oh, well, you get to wait. Darn. No, actually, we noticed the other day that Sam and I were playing through Resident Evil 4, and we kind of thought about how old is this game? And we took a look at it, and, it's freaking 10 years old. And it's like, I didn't realize this game had been out that long, but it came out in January of 2005. So,
aged like a fine wine, did it not?
Yeah, I guess. But if you look, you can kind of see the influence of that game throughout the generations of Resident Evil. Because before that, you had fixed angle, what do they call it, tank controls?
Yeah.
Where you spin really slowly. And the focus of the game is on the conservation of ammo and the avoiding of enemies, all the while solving puzzles, which is classic survival horror, right? You're not better than the enemies; they will kill you, and let's see how you do. And then you had the complete paradigm shift with Resident Evil 4. They said, actually, let's try this. You get unlimited saves, you get all the ammo in the world, and oh, by the way, you can kill as many zombies as your heart intends. Oh, by the way, but they're not zombies anymore either, right? They're
parasites.
Parasitic.
It's a virus at this point.
Put zombies out of good work.
There's something, right?
They're very buggy.
So, yeah. And that paradigm shift held through Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil, where they introduced the co-op feature. And they brought it into Resident Evil 6, where they kind of diverged and said, here's some different storylines you can play as different people and cooperatively. And then they said, They put, well, actually, let me back up first. Then they put out Resident Evil Revelations on the DS, which actually, for a handheld game, is probably one of the better games I've ever played.
Well, I was actually really interested in how Revelations for the DS, and it was later ported to a few consoles, was a lot more survival horror than 4 felt like, because it did have like that lack of ammo and the lack of like things that you needed a little more than the past.
If you play
few.
through Resident Evil Revelations, you'll notice that it is really dodging around the enemy's base. You get ammo, but up front the game tells you this is going to be in your face and you better not mess with the enemies too much.
Better just walk away.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Tried to run.
I mean, it's interesting. But then you take a look at Revelations 2, which is really kind of a culmination of all of these things, and we'll talk about that a bit more in the second half of this segment, right?
Right, and we'll be right back with more Final Boss.
It's that time again. My name is Curry Hartson, and you're watching Final Boss. Halo 5 is just around the corner. Everyone's favorite Spartan is finally about to come back to us for the next chapter in his story. Halo 5 Guardians will be released sometime this year in 2015, and it's going to take the next step in the story of Master Chief and continue where Halo 4 left off. One of the biggest things about this game is that Master Chief is possibly a traitor. According to the tagline that Microsoft is using to advertise the game, Hunt the Truth, fans have done some digging to where it is speculated Master Chief might be a traitor. So this poses the question, what is happening with Master Chief? And we'll see what's coming next this year. Don't forget about the multiplayer, because every Halo fan loves multiplayer. The multiplayer is getting some revamp with aim-down sights and a few new game modes. It still feels like Halo, but it's been tweaked and turned so that it feels brand new.
Welcome back to Final Boss. Now, we are midway through our conversation about Resident Evil and specifically Resident Evil Revelations 2. So let's dive right into that.
Yeah, no, see, like we were talking about before the break, it's Resident Evil Revelations 2. Can we call that something? We'll just call it Revelations 2.
Yeah, Revelations 2 is really a little easier.
It's really a culmination of the different themes that they've been using in the Resident Evil franchise for the last 10 years. You think about Resident Evil 4, right? You have two-person gameplay in a sense where you have to tote Ashley around, and she's critical in solving some of the game's puzzles. She jumps under doors, does her own thing, gets captured by the ghoulies.
Points.
You see what I'm saying? The mechanics involving Ashley are a really important component of clearing through that game. And it, of course, like we said, the paradigm shift with, hey, you now have bullets, have fun. And then you look at Resident Evil 5 where they introduced two-player co-op, right? You could have somebody play as Chris and somebody play as Sheva. And then in Resident Evil 6, right, they introduce divergent storylines where you have Sherry and I think it was Sherry Birkin, some female protagonist,
Jake Mueller,
and
Wesker's son.
Minnie Wesker. Then you have Chris and his sidekick, And you have
Chris and Sidekick.
Helena and Leon, who are also, truth be known, Leon and Sidekick. Except, I guess she carries 2 guns or something. I don't know.
Dual wield.
So you have divergent storylines in that game. And then it comes together to make Resident Evil Revelations 2. You have divergent storylines, right? You have Claire and Moira's storyline, and you have Barry and Natalie's storyline. You have Resident Evil 4's paradigm shifted. Here, have some bullets, kill some zombies, fight your way through this gameplay, and you have a useless secondary character, just like Ashley.
Yeah.
And I think it's really cool that they do have like the ability when you're playing one player to switch back and forth, because I really, really loved Resident Evil 4, but I loved the horror of
Could you
not being
imagine
able to do
how much
things.
better it would have been if you could have switched to Ashley? Because you're like, will you please just do something intelligent for a minute, right? And you're like, wouldn't it be great if I could just switch to her and do this myself, right? And so then in this game they kind of answer your prayers because they give you limited defensive options, but mainly the utility of the second character, Moira and Natalie's utility, is what really fleshes out the Resident Evil Revelations 2 and separates it from your standard shooter, because for all intents and purposes the game's combat system when you're playing as Claire or Barry is really Metal Gear Solid-esque, right?
Yes.
Especially Barry, because
It's also very
he shows up
melee-based. They don't have
right. He
any
shows
weapons at
up
all.
armored to the teeth. You know, whips out his custom assault rifle and his samurai edge that's been his trademark since 1992, and goes to town. But then you play as Natalie, and it opens up new options and different ways. Like, for example, you have to use her ability to look at to expose the weak spots in the enemies. Like what I said, Resident Evil Revelations 2, that is a mouthful, is the culmination of all the different themes they've been trying in the Resident Evil series over the last 10 years, since the paradigm shift with Resident Evil 4, to really make up what could be considered a pentultimate Resident Evil. And that's why I think Robert and I have had so much fun with it, that it brings together the strengths of the last 3 main sequence games.
Now, have you guys been playing 2-player at the same time, like
yes,
co-op?
Robert and I play together. I make Robert play the other.
Who is what?
I play the useless character. I already played through it by myself, so
Which
Robert
surprised
plays
me
the other
because Moria, Barry's daughter, does not use a gun, and he is the one who packs heat all the time. He goes to the grocery store.
I think that's some daddy issues showing through.
He carries a Magnum in the grocery store just to buy some melons.
All right. Now, that's all the time we have to talk about Revelations 2 for this week. We'll be right back with more Final Boss.
Welcome back to Final Boss. Here today on Sudden Death, we're going to be playing Rock Band 3. We're playing Midlife Crisis because that song's legit and it wasn't randomly picked. Now, it's been a while since I've played this game, and this man here is a filthy casual, so this should be good. I don't think this song has a lot of guitar parts.
Okay. We shall see.
Maybe my key to winning is totally distracting you.
Your key to winning is me not remembering how to play this game.
Hey, do you remember how to play this game?
It's been a long...
Well, then that means I'm gonna have a chance.
We're already off to a really good start.
So how's that keyboard weather over there?
The keyboard weather's really good. Thank you for asking. A little dusty. I think that's a term you typically use for weather.
Hey, any weather can be dusty if you leave it long enough.
It's a dust devil over here. So how's that guitar weather over there? It seems to be going a little bit better.
You know, it's been a long time since I've played a game like this, but... And I think the reason is I was so damaging to my guitar that I just couldn't use it anymore. And it was like a cheap Wii guitar, so...
That happens.
So that's really what really broke me down. I used to have a great time playing it.
Playing Rock Band on the Wii.
Well, not even Rock Band. Like, unfortunately, I'm a Guitar Hero casual, but and I didn't get as good a taste with Rock Band.
You know, Guitar Hero's guitars are way better.
But one of the better games I thought was World Tour. Like 3 and World Tour I think had a pretty good variety to choose
I like
from.
3, I like 2 because it has Trogdor in it.
That's true. It does have Trogdor. I haven't heard that song in a long time. They need to bring it back for games like this. Maybe it'll find a good kick again and just really just hit it. I feel like I've heard this song a long time ago. I need to find it.
I heard this song a long time ago when I played this game.
Nice. You know, I used to be so downtrodden when it came to chords. I used to be like, I was never able to hit them. I was like, but hey, practice. And I got better. It was funny, back home, me and my dad, we would compete. And he'd do stupid stuff like put the guitar behind his head and everything like that.
I would do that.
It's fun if you can remember what you're doing, but then he tries to bring it back around and screws up like 10, 15, 20 notes.
As a keyboard player in real life, not having enough octaves to play this is just killing me.
Very sorry for your loss. As a casual who hasn't played in like 3 years, I commend you for your skill.
4.
Oh, come on now.
I'm beating you in every category.
Every category? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're probably right, but it's been a while since I've been on Final Boss, and I've kind of missed it. But I think it's been the first time I've been on Sudden Death in I don't know how long.
I keep on hitting like, I'm like 1 semitone off every single time.
Like, I think in Guitar Hero it's called Star Power. How do you use it in a game like Rock Band?
Same way.
Same way?
This kid went the whole song not knowing he could use Star Power.
Hey, it's been a while, all right? I'm a casual. Leave me alone.
I'm not leaving a mistake like that.
That's fine. At least I'm having fun doing good at heart.
You're not allowed to have fun at games, don't you remember? That's the way this industry works.
Is that the hazards of gaming? Having fun?
Well, that went about as well as actually a little bit better than I expected, especially
Really?
for him.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Who won?
I think we all won in heart. This boy right here had fun, so he's the winner.
Which
you
means
are winner.
Which means even though I'm totally not as good as you because I totally played on medium, I did kind of win.
I mean, I did get a higher score, but still.
Good
effort.
But I got 99%, and that's what counts. That's a higher grade.
Keys. Well, we're out of time for now, so thanks for watching, and stick around for the rest of Final Boss here on MSU TV.
Channel 85.
What he said.
That's all the time we have for this week's episode of Final Boss. Now, this week we had a really great time looking at some of our favorites from the zombie genre. We're really excited about a lot of games that are coming out soon. We talked about some of those. Last week we had our Battle of the Brandons, and only one Brandon was victorious. And before we leave, we'd like to thank our producers, John Dunaway and Sam Bell, our executive producer, Tim Creekmore, and of course MSU TV for allowing us to use their facilities. And right before we go, I'd like to thank all of you guys for watching. Come back next time for more Final Boss.